I didn't mean to do that. Oh, Jesus, here we go. Not that screeny. Oh my god. Jesus. Oh lord. Gonna be one of those days, huh? I have boba today. Unfortunately, I accidentally selected 75% sugar instead of 100%, so it's a little bit less sweet than I'm used to, but it's a peach mango black tea. Tastes good. Just finished a drawing a bit ago. Oh, I'm glad, Robin. I'll have to see that. I'll have to check that out later tonight. All right, continue. Sure. All right, I can't believe it. Are we finally going to London? London 5th Avenue, the adventure of the runaway guys. I mean, room.
Glancing over my records of the late last century, I am faced by the events of a certain bitter winter.
Really?
A murder in a carriage as it sped through
oh
dense London fog.
Oh, that's what it means by the runaway room.
Dead of night. Though the victim and the perpetrator were the only ones inside, there were multiple witnesses to the crime itself.
Some good cursive there, friend.
However, none could have imagined at the time that
although the letters aren't connected, so it's a little weird.
This would end in such a horrendous manner.
Oh my.
My friend, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, once said of the incident, I believe
I'm sorry.
Perhaps that case was indeed a prelude.
I read the subtitles, I really did, and my brain still processed it as Sherlock Holmes, and I was like, you didn't really... Oh, they forgot to localize the name. Uh-oh.
Amazing. Is this really just a railway station?
Railway station or not, I've never seen such an enormous building before.
And look at all the steam locomotives.
Wow. Steamy.
Is incredible.
Yeah, these are nice. This looks nice. Oh, is it winter? Fragrance soaps. Ryan's Cocoa.
I feel like I'm dreaming.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
Mm-hmm. It's very, very... I like the colors.
Where to?
Oh, hello.
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
Oh, am I gonna get accused of murder again?
The Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
My pleasure.
Don't forget your bag.
Suppose you're visiting students from abroad, eh?
Yes.
Thought so. Well then, I hope you enjoy your stay.
He seems friendly.
Welcome to the centre of the world, Great Britain's mighty capital, London.
Wow. Wow. That's alright. Wow, London seems really great so far, you guys. So great, in fact, that I just have to...
London Tipton's really great, really great, really great. London Tipton's really great and deserves a yacht that it pays. Squeak and clouds!
I just wanted to get that out there. When I'm in a town called London, I can't just not make Sweet Life references. Even the title of this stream is a Sweet Life reference, so get used to it. 18th February, 9:21 a.m., British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. What an incredible place. Oh god, what were the voices? This is what happens when you don't stream this for a week. Twilight King 432 in the case of the ever-changing voices. It's so imposing. It's almost suffocating. This place is breathtaking. It looks like a fortress. There are just gears everywhere. There are some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course. But they've only been built in a few short decades since we opened our borders to the outside world. An authentic example like this has quite a different impact, wouldn't you agree? A far cry from the wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed. The wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed from. I got a stroke there. Certainly unfamiliar. But I think there's more to the differences than just construction materials. Oh, Mickey Mouse! No, I can't do that then. What is this? What is this place again? This is Lord Chief Justice's office, Naruhodo-san, in the Supreme Court of Great Britain. The Lord Chief Justice. We had instructions to report here at this time if circumstances were different. We were supposed to let the Lord Chief Justice know that we had arrived from Japan. But Kazuma can't. No. So instead, we're here in a different capacity, as envoys to report the news of Kazuma-sama's death. Yes. And having delivered his or her message, an envoy's duty is done. So, we'd have to return to Japan. If we want to remain here in Great Britain, I have to take Kazuma... Oh, did I? Oh, whatever. I have to take Kazuma's place as a law student selected for the study tour. Yes, which means you need the requisite qualifications as a lawyer. Which is what I've been studying for. Here in Great Britain, it is the Lord Chief Justice who appoints lawyers. So that's the second reason why we're here, to have you officially recognized as a lawyer. It's the only way that we'll be able to remain here in London. I hope I'm up to scratch. I'm sure you'll be fine. Ah, good morning. Sorry for keeping you. I'm gonna have to get back into this. Pip-pip-da-doodly-doo. Oh. I trust you aren't too exhausted after your long voyage from Japan. Tut-tut. Seems I'm 1 hour, 12 minutes and 47 seconds late. My apologies. Oh, no, don't mention it. We're never happier than when we're standing around with nothing much to do. Is that really the best thing to say? How fortunate. So, introductions. I am Male Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of the British Empire. Ugh, and I feel like a little mouse under an elephant's foot. Well, elephants are afraid of mice, according to popular lore, so... Come on, Mr. Naruhodo. Don't be a mouse. Oh, it's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan. Well, Mr. Naruhodo. Welcome to London, the capital of our glorious British Empire. British Empire. Ah, yes, thank you. Converse. You prefer Chuck's high-topped or low-top? So, what are your impressions of the capital so far? How do you like London? London Tipton's really great. Oh, I've been so nervous. It's simply splendid, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh? We had a wonderful view of some London streets from the carriage on the way here from the station. Hey Zeno, how you doing? Everything's so impressive and grand. I must say I'm almost lost for words. I'm glad to hear you like it. The city boasts tramways, piped water, and gas. Even cables supplying electricity. We spearhead every revolutionary technology in the world. Every visitor to London is astounded. Oh yes, astounded is the word. Thanks for saving me there, Suzata-san. And everyone seems so jolly and full of vigor. Yes, there's much excitement about the upcoming great exhibition we will be hosting here in London. Great exhibition? Cultural and technological achievements from around the globe are to be exhibited here in our great city. It will be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history, and we will make Paris's World Fair look like a toy shop. Gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's going to be. Great Britain's capital city is nothing but magnificent. London is the center of the modern world. Even if you do say so yourself. The sun will never set on our great empire. Perhaps it is fate that in these progressive times we'll welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun. Lord Chief Justice, I think you were expecting a student of law for the study tour, weren't you? Absolutely. Mr. Kazuma Asagi, if memory serves. That's right. The British government has already been telegraphed a full report on the situation. I understand the young man lost his life aboard the steamship bound for our shores. That's amazing. The news reached him before we even arrived. But they got Morse? Actually, Morse didn't exist yet. What am I saying? I don't think it did. Our country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours. Oh, thank you. And you honored this appointment specifically to inform me of the news? Yes. We are here in the capacity of envoys from Japan to report the sad news in person. They tell me you Japanese are a people of protocol and courtesy, and I see that it's true. And it is with some regret that I must inform you that the death of the young lawyer means that this study tour can no longer proceed. If you would just hear us out, Lord Strongheart, I have to really channel my inner, like, Harry Potter nerd. What do you have to say, madam? It's about the study tour. Mr. Naruhodo here would like to make a proposal. Would he now? Well, Mr. Naruhodo. This is it then, the moment of truth. It's a lie! The thing is, Lord Strongheart, I was wondering if perhaps you would consider allowing the study tour to go ahead? Don't misunderstand me. Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead, but without a lawyer from your country, there's nothing to be done. Well, in that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean. Is there something I don't know? Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country, and that was Mr. Asagi. At least, that is what I've been led to understand. Well, the thing is, this really isn't going well at all. I just can't seem to find the right words to say to this man. Mr. Naruhodo. Rude things here if I'm not careful. What am I gonna say? If there is someone else here from Japan who describes a lawyer, It's me! It was me! It's me. I can do it. Is that so? I like his outfit. I am really into, like, old era English clothing. I mean, I don't actually have any qualifications as such, but... No qualifications, you say? And yet you still claim to be a lawyer? I have acted as a lawyer in court before. Only once, as it happens. And then Cosmo helped me, and I was the accused, but glossing over the details. I've been spending every spare moment on the journey here to Great Britain studying. I've learned all about British law and court proceedings while I was on board the SS Boreal. The voyage from Japan is some 50 days, I believe. Not what you might call full education. I'm a qualified lawyer here in Britain. Not only do you need a university degree in law, but you must also complete several years of training. I realize it's far too short a period of time, but I can't just go back to Japan. Kazuma, Mr. Asagi's journey had only just begun. Coming here on this study tour was all he thought about. I have to carry on and do everything he planned to do. I know it must sound like I have an overly inflated opinion of myself, but I would do anything to prove that I have what it takes. Any test you care to set me. I know, Zeno, it's so sad. Just one chance, that's all I'm asking for. Please. Please. 31 seconds. Sorry? Your opening statement there, Mr. Naruto. It was 31 seconds long. Not too brief, not too protracted, a perfectly judged appeal, I would say. Which is a skill that would stand you in good stead as a lawyer. Oh, thanks. So, you're willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment. Low-key, he kinda good looking. Mark, maybe I'm just stupid and weird and, like, horny, but, like, you kinda good looking. I don't know, something about this, like, British man staring at a pocket watch, like, you know, daddy, like... Okay, good. Thank you. Like, oh yeah, like stare. Oh, like, oh god, man. Huh? Let me ask you one thing first, sir. Yeah, sure, but like, eat hot. I tell you what, I'd open up faster than that pocket watch of his. Yes? You say you intend to do everything Mr. Asagi planned to do. Are you firmly set on that path? Well, yes, that's my intention. I see. Am I imagining things? Or did his expression just alter a fraction there all of a sudden? Very well. You have your wish. I'll give you a chance. Once. A test to become a specially certified lawyer. Whether you pass or fail is entirely down to you. Really? That's easy. Test. So, what form will the test take exactly? Tell me, Mr. Naruto, what do you consider the role of a lawyer to be? Well, defending people, of course. Well said. So, let's have you defend someone. Oh boy, this is how it begins. Huh? Huh? Oh yeah. Your timing is perfect, in fact. There's an apt trial about to begin later today. No advocate has been appointed for the defenses yet, so this will be welcome news. Today? Straight away? If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you'll have passed my test. What could be simpler? Ugh, how do I get myself into these situations? Well, could I ask, what sort of trial is it, Lord Strongheart? What do you think? I mean, it's... yes, good question. I remember. It's a murder trial. You did it, didn't you? And like, you're assigning me to this case, knowing that I won't, thinking that I won't catch you, and therefore I will get sent back home. Do not confirm or deny what I just said, please. But now it's in the back of my mind. A murder? Extremely simple case, I understand. Can't lose. That's easy to say. Do I actually think that's what happened? No, but it's in the back of my mind. I should mention, just in case. If the defendant is found guilty, he will of course be sentenced to capital punishment. Capital punishment? He'll be put to death? Here in Great Britain, murderers are sent to the gallows without exception. Presumably you read that much in your short sea-based introduction to British law. We can't possibly agree to such a test. We will be toying with a man's life. I am the Lord Chief Justice, and I've decided it's acceptable. But you can't do that, can you? There's no need to overcomplicate this. All you have to do is ensure you don't lose. Oh, cool. So the defendant may live or die depending on how well I perform in court? If I lose, he'll be hanged. And it won't exactly be pleasant. Mr. Naruhodo, you've come to me claiming to be a lawyer. If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove you're willing to do a lawyer's job. And you say you intend to see through the will of your compatriot, Mr. Asahi. I would like to understand just how far you're willing to go in order to make that happen. He's testing my resolve. What's the matter? You've fallen silent. I'm sorry, but time is pressing. The trial begins shortly. I need an answer from you now. What's it to be? What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd... Yeah, I'll do it. What do you mean? I gotta do anything. I gotta do what it takes. Alright then, if I have to give you a decision now, my answer is... Oh, I can't do it. I can't get the words out. 15 seconds. Your decision making needs work if you want to be a lawyer. That was too slow. So, it's as I suspected, is it? Sorry? You have noble intentions but lack the resolve to see them through. I said yes, bro, just for you. The test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, no, I know. Hi, Goaty. Yeah, no, I'm strong and hard. That's how I like it. Go and apply your ticket for passage back to the East tomorrow. This conversation is over. Thank you for offering me a chance. Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Mrs. Sato, but what could I do? It's alright, I understand. You do? It's not an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances. But resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it. I think he did it. I really, really think he did it. Or he did something. I don't know what he did, but he did something sometime. What are you trying to say, madam? I think what Miss Susato means is that no matter how badly I'd like to be recognized as a lawyer and stay here in Great Britain, to risk another man's life by treating his one and only chance at a trial so trivially would be utterly unforgivable, and I feel exactly the same way. I'm sure the defendant won't see this trial as a test, as some kind of experiment. Well, I mean... Yeah, there have been experimental trials before. I'm pretty sure Vera would have liked to have a say in it. You know what I mean? But I guess that's 200 years down the line. 100 years down the line? Probably 200. A lawyer may fight for his clients in court day after day, but for each one of those clients, the particular day they stand in the dock may be the only chance they have to fight to prove their innocence. No, I was wrong. I'm not qualified to do that job yet. I'm sorry for wasting your time, Lord Chief Justice. Wait, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, was there something else? It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to the Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should still be there in time. But I just said that. I was quite serious in what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for him. What? At this point, he can't hope to find someone to represent him. The trial will begin without defense. And if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. He will receive the most severe sentence the judge can pass on. But that's awful. But that's the truth. Why does it have to be like this? Because he said so? Please don't expect an answer to every question. The cold, hard truth of the matter is that there is only one person now with a chance to save this man from a very miserable end. And that is you. I'm really his only hope. So, what do you say now, madam? Me? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? You said it wasn't an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances. And I agree. But in my estimation, it is purely and simply a matter of resolve. Oh. Our time is up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So, venture into our great city and enjoy yourselves. Alright, cool. I don't trust you. But I want you, but I don't trust you. He's gone. The Old Bailey. That's a real building, right? I'm pretty sure the Old Bailey is real. If we're going to do this, Mr. Naruto, we must leave at once. Yeah, let's go. I don't got time for this. I actually kind of do. Miss Susato, can I just ask you something? Careful. From this position, I can perform a Susato takedown in an instant. I know. Okay, fine. We don't get a chance. Fine. We'll go. I've heard the name the Old Bailey before. The highest criminal court within the illustrious past. I've heard it's a beautiful... Actually, yeah, I knew it. I think I knew it was real, but I couldn't remember. Look it up and see how beautiful... if it's a beautiful building. Don't they still use it? Alright, Microwave Bananas, I don't know who you are, but enjoy Destiny 2. Oh, thank goodness, we're here in time. We're in time. There's still 15 minutes and... Wow. I never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were gonna rattle loose. Did you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver, and there's a guinea in it for you. One of my favorite lines from the Herlock Sholmes stories, and it worked quite perfectly. I'm not sure why you're so pleased. I thought we were going to die, and we had to pay gold for the privilege. Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started. Yes, I suppose there's that. Anyway, I don't understand it. The court clerk said the defendant should be here, but there's no sign of him at all. Is he small? So this is the Old Bailey. Even this room for defendants to wait in is granted. It is very pretty. What era of England is this? Victorian? It's the boss. Are you alright, Mr. Naruto? 1900 specifically. Gotcha. I'm feeling tense, that's all. Who was the monarch at that time? This place gives me the same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court. Oh, this place gives me the same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court in Japan. An oppressive air. Almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever's about to be sentenced. Feels like only yesterday that I was the one about to be crushed. Under the heel of Strongheart, no doubt. Yes, whoever the man you're here to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at the moment. Top of the morning to you, man. Oh god, here we go. It's an Irishman. I can't do Irish. You don't look Irish. It's one of my favorites, Mac. Ah, shit, I can't do Irish. Top of the morning to you, madam, sir. Oh, look at him. What are you doing following me here? Things are fair desperate, are they? Sorry? Would you look at those expressionless faces from the east, are you? We're from Japan, yes. Ah, Japan is it? Right, say no more. So, how much do you need? No, we're just here because... No need to explain, fella. I've been there myself, so I have me lucky charms. No place to go, nothing to eat. No, nothing to eat, alright. We just got after Strongheart. No, God, that's terrible. That's awful. Barely a penny to your name, and all the while in a strange, faraway land. Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no. I'm awful. I'm so sorry. Tis grand, tis grand. Let me start by giving you a 1,000 guineas. Say nothing now. No. Ah, a 1,000 guineas? Please, Miss Susato, you don't have to shout. But 1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious area of Tokyo. What? It is nothing to me at all. I like to ensure that I have sufficient funds to weather a rainy day, see. I have enough wealth to buy the city of London 2 or 3 times over. This accent is going to go all over the place, and I hope you're ready for it. Could that much rain even fall in one day? Well, even so, we couldn't possibly accept such a large sum of money. Ah, that hit me in the eye. Aw, he's gonna come in the court with a black eye. Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving it to you no strings attached. I'll be wanting to do something for me. Oh, to be honest, it is a little embarrassing. The trial that's about to begin, you see, is for me good self here. I'll be in the dock. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you'd be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now. Oh, well, the thing is, don't worry about a thing. All you have to do is stand up there next to me, nothing more. Otherwise, you see, the trial's gonna go start without me having any kind of representation at all. So it was true. The Lord Chief Justice wasn't making it all up. I'm terribly sorry to have to ask, but does that mean you're the defendant in this trial? Blustered and blazes, do you not know who I am? Me? One of London's biggest names? No, sorry, we've only just arrived in the city, see. I see. I suppose it isn't altogether impossible. Well, just next to Hyde Park, in the center of London, is another beautiful park. Sorry, a park? What? It is called McGilded Park. Full of blossoming flowers in the spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated it to the city, so I did. Ah, and in an entire park in central London? City smiles, that's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for the city and its queer old people. That's a cool name. Hansi McGundle? Oh. I mean, really extraordinary. Ah, but now they've the gall to say I'm a good-for-nothing criminal. Me, Magnus McGilded. What is the matter with London police, yes, I ask you? Yeah, Scotland Yard is really screwing the pooch. Scotland Yard is really screwing the pooch in this one. They changed all the names, I think. Alright, don't pass out. Mr. Naruhodo. Perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath. Good idea. Mr. McGilded, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour from Japan, you see. So, if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet... Yeah, they localized the English names, but the Japanese names stayed the same because it's Japan. You'd be happy to put yourself in our hands. What was I after saying, you daft Egypt? I've given you 1,000 guineas to stand up there next to me, haven't I? Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering to just stand up there next to you. He seems extremely short. Well, I think I see what's going on here. Sorry, I know what you're thinking. This Chancellor of a fella claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why the blazes can't he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? Because he did it. That's the only explanation. Well, not at all, sir. Not at all. Although, it is a little strange, to be honest. Why you don't have a lawyer, I mean. That would be the fault of the Reaper. Did he just say the Reaper? My husband. Right? Is my husband we're talking about? I, the Grim Reaper of the Bailey, Lord Baruch van Zieks. How do you say his name? Though I did. How do you say his name? Is it Baruch van Zieks or Zieks? I assume it's Zieks. Lord Baruch van Zieks. He's a prosecutor. The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper. Zieks. Zieks. Okay. When Van Zieks stands for the prosecution, they call the accused as sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. What? Yeah, to each their own. It's a visual novel. It's hard to figure out how things are pronounced. So it's reached a desperate situation where there's no one willing to stand in defense against the fella at all. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey. Hi, Kongchong. How you doing? Sorry, I didn't say that earlier. Goodness, Lord Barak Van Zieks. He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor then. Or he's wooing them with his masculine charms. Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madam. It's cursed. Cursed? What on earth? The defendant is summoned and his counsel. Please make your way into the courtroom. The trial is about to begin. His counsel? That would be me. Oh, 'tis time. Well then, fella, don't let me down. Don't bring me down. No, 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 no. Woo-hoo. I'll tell you once more. I don't know. But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened. Until you... But, hold on. Hey, Rabbit, thank you so much for the host. Until you showed your face here. I had made up my mind, so I had... Sorry. I decided I had to defend myself in here. How would that have worked? But then you made an appearance. A student of law. Wouldn't you know? Wouldn't you know? It's no accident, I can assure you of that. His fate. Don't get cold feet now. Now, please. I literally know nothing about the case or this man who stands accused. The first 4 words of this sentence are just my life. I literally know nothing. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I don't know anything. Is that I can't just turn my back on him. Mr. Naruhodo. The man has no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom, armed with nothing to defend himself. Yeah, something that Cosmo would never have allowed to happen. Counsel for the defense, what are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you will lose your right to stand. Let's go. I'll be right there. It's happening then. My first trial in a British court. I hope you're watching over me, Cosmo. He is. Because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. Save? That's not going to make me save already. It's only been 40 minutes. Rest in peace. Oh, it's so sad being in a courtroom without Cosmo. It's so terribly sad. I mean, like, I don't know how I'm ever gonna get over this, y'all. Like... So this is the highest court in Great Britain, the Old Bailey. Centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? It's so different from the Supreme Court in Japan. Feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes words redundant. Whatever the country, determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. May I say something, Mr. Naruto? Oh, yes. What? Oh, shifty eyes are back. Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again. I know, but I just can't help it. Oh, I've gotten over it, guys. Oh my. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGilded. I'm not going to be able to do that the whole time. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. What am I going to give this? What voice am I going to give this? Is he British? Okay, because like with a last name like Van Zieks, I don't know. It could be Dracula, you know, I want to suck your blood, the prosecution is fully prepared. Do a bad Dracula. I want to suck your blood is like the only thing I can say with a Dracula accent, though. The prosecution is fully prepared. Well, it'll... Haughty. The prosecution is fully prepared. We got... Haughty. No, I know what you said, don't worry. The prosecution is fully prepared. The prosecution is, fully prepared. On any other planet, I'd be millions of years old. But here on Sakaar... In any case... I have boba. And there's a bunch of cold water in the fridge. Okay. Yeah. The prosecution is fully prepared. That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch his next poor victim to the underworld. Counsel for the defense, you appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English? Huh? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. But he asked if the defense was ready. And I couldn't be further from ready if I tried. Those eyes please me. Nipponese. They shroud your fear, your doubt, your trepidation. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. How's that? The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb. Ugh. A cold shiver just ran down my spine, all the way to the tips of my toes. Oh, something else is running to it. No. God, this is... Just let me get all the jollies out, okay? Okay. Listen, everyone in London is racist right in this time period, okay? We just have to... I guess... In 1900 London, everyone is racist, so we just have to move past it for a little bit, which is not advice that I would ever give in any meaningful capacity in real life. But in this game, in this time period, like, just accept it. Like, cold. Yeah. Now, Mr. McGilded. Oh God. Yes, my lord. You stand accused of murder, a capital offense. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this foreigner? As I've always said, my lord, it is a grand thing to love the opportunity to give the opportunities to young. Even if a fella's a student from some little island off in the Far East. Is it not the British way to ignore to defend the dangers to yourself and give these less fortunate a fair chance? I'd like to think that acts of chivalry do the great British Empire proud. Listen to Mr. McGilded, what a fine London gentleman he has in him. Did you hear the news they donated £5,000 to the government the other day? Mother, please let me go and play McGilded Park. It seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilded. That's definitely welcome news, and he certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him.
eloquently put, Mr. McGilded, and most laudable sentence. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly remind you that you 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed? I don't know that any of them are impartial. Yes, my lord, if the task is to send Protestants to the gallows where they belong, I'm more than ready.
At the manor, his lordship always says that we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree.
Any criminals here will soon be wishing they had never set eyes on me. I feel a chill.
Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll just be getting on with my knitting. Must finish these mitts for me grandson. Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Those people are the jury. Yes, that's something we don't have in Japan yet.
Yet.
That's right. I've only ever read about it. But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of these 6 jurors. The judge passes sentence according to the law, but these jurors determine guilt based on common sense. So the defendant is ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view. But how exactly the jurors give their verdict? That I don't know, but I'm sure it will become clear as the trial progresses.
Yes. Prosecutor Van Zeeks. My lord? It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you renounced your fame. I'm known as the Reaper of the Bailey, my lord. Infamy, rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity. So, what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstance of which the court should be aware? I leave that to your imagination, my lord.
So the Reaper has been out of action for 5 years. Why did he have to choose today of all the days to make? You know what? Yeah. I know, Goldie, I know. Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruto.
As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, the opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please. Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity. We must be the only ones in here who aren't aware. The incident took place in the late evening. 3 days passed. The hour was some minutes after 10. Oh, he's so hot. Look at him read. Ugh. Read me, Daddy. The victim was a maker of building bricks known in the community as Thrice Fried Mason.
Fired Mason. Sorry, thrice?
It means 3 times, you idiot. He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible. The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service on the streets of London at the time. A dagger that had been thrust into the victim's abdomen is believed to have been the ultimate cause of death. Here is the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer at Scotland Yard. Thank you, counsel. I shall accept that and the photograph as evidence.
I think some of the stuff is a little bit complicated with regards to doing English names and Japanese names, because the Japanese names obviously don't need to change. But they probably had to come up with some English-sounding name for the Japanese audience, you know, in Japan. So some of them probably stayed the same. Some of them were probably translated literally. Some of them, you know, maybe had puns that needed to be made or something. Yeah, I'll be right back. I really have to use the bathroom, actually. Sorry for the... I'll be right back. one of these days I'm going to like fall and break my back or something. Turns out that I almost slipped and fell because I forgot I polished the floors today. So that's fun. Okay. Okay. And one further item of evidence. Prosecution wishes to submit these as well. Oh Jesus, Cody, are you alright? Were you alright? I guess you were because you're still here, but like... Thank God you're okay.
And these are... Good lord, is that blood, Council?
Yes, my lord. Seized by a policeman who arrived at the scene. His gore-soaked gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested. What? Mr. McGildy's gloves had blood on them?
Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well.
The defendant's leather gloves, okay. How did I get into this? I'm back in a corner before they've even started. Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside the vehicle at the time. Am I maintaining the same voice that I started with? It's gonna fluctuate. Obviously, one of those passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason.
The other...
That's not right. The other was the accused, Magnus McGilded. Only 3 of them reacted to that.
Well, rather damning circumstances, to say the least. Defendant, what say you?
Well, of course, I have no recollection of such a thing. Mr. McGilded. To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening. Whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness. I always succumb to it.
Are you claiming to have been asleep?
It is the motion of carriage, my lord. Littleton, so it is. When I opened my eyes again, it was a desperate sight before me. The body of a man I'd never laid eyes on before in my life. Now I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start wearing my gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. The blood got onto the gloves then after the man had been killed. Unfortunately, that statement of the driver's is only the beginning. What? That's not all of it? There were multiple witnesses to the precise moment which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed. I thought there were 2 people in the carriage, dude. Oh, there's the other reactions.
Order, order, order.
When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage, and there were witnesses to the crime. This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the coffin for the accused. Well, I just want to see something real quick. People... in 52, 48, 32, 54. Deceased now.
Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we will hear testimony from these witnesses, first of all.
Your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring in the witnesses at once. God, he's hot. Oh, he's cold. Oh, he had the sideways face and I don't even know what to say about that third. Witnesses, your names and occupations. My name is, well, everyone calls me Beppo. I drive an omnibus and
In the East End. Bruce Fairplay. I'm a banker in the city. My name's First. Lady First. Oh, that's funny. I make hats for gents. Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witness aforementioned incident. Is that correct?
How you doing, Private?
Yes, sir. Quite right.
Yes, sir. That's right, sir.
Very well then, let's proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw. Witness testimony.
What the witnesses saw. It was the last bus of the evening, so I had a few customers. I remember it well.
The victim and the man accused of killing him sat next to each other inside the bus. And then, out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts.
That's right. He stabbed him. I screamed, I did. Couldn't help it.
As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped the bus, and then I saw it too.
Glad to hear, Rabbit.
Unambiguous testimony, I must say. Exactly, my lord. Those men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes.
I'd like to ask a question, if I may.
Yes, counsel?
Well, in this testimony, it makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever.
I'm good.
Why not? Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it?
As has been clearly stated from the outset, yes.
Well, in that case, how could those two witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of the moving carriage. Oh, you done it now, boy.
How quaint. I'd read that civilization in the Eastern Island nations was a good century behind Ireland. But you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about our omnibuses? Huh? Tell me, my Nipponese friend, have you even traveled in an omnibus?
Well, no. We only arrived in London this morning.
No matter.
I've arranged for us all to see for ourselves. The actual scene of the crime, that is. What do you mean? The actual scene? How? A carriage is designed to be moved, after all. Perhaps, presumably you understand that much. Yes. The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is here today, in this very building. Here? What? The entire carriage?
Bailiff, bring forth the stricken omnibus.
London, 5th Avenue, Baker Street, Old Street, Strand Street, Old Street. London, head off. Hey, Blue, how you doing? How was Hob? Oh, that's an omnibus. The omnibus. I can't believe they could bring something so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing.
As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and can carry up to 8 passengers.
Glad to hear it.
4 passengers seated inside the enclosed cabin, and another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best views of the city's architecture and sights are to be had from the top of an omnibus.
I'm here against Prosecutor Twice' husband, yes.
And I should point out to our foreign guests that there is a skylight in the roof allowing a view of the interior from the seats above.
Ah, a skylight. Oh. Oh.
Penny drops at last, I see. Oh, that's... Oh.
Could be, you say that very quickly. It could sound like something else that I'm interested in. Sorry, I won't force it. I won't force it, I promise.
These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats on this omnibus when the murder took place.
What other guy?
That is how they came to witness the grim incidents. Through the skylight.
Oh, no, he was only temporary. I knew fully well that this was my husband for years. His theme song is the only song I knew from this game, before I started playing it. Ugh, that makes perfect sense.
Well, Counsel, this is a first. In all my years behind the bench, I've never experienced the crime scene itself being brought into the courtroom. There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish.
Oh man, Mr. Eldoon's noodle stand.
Very well, I see no reason why not. The omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence.
I can't believe it. The entire crime scene entered as evidence. Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary. Myself a lot by giving that. I could help myself a lot by giving that on us thorough examination, seeing as it's here. Do that now. So, not that button, fool. This one. Bum 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 ba dum bum bum bum. Bum 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 bum. We're literally going in right now, huh? Cool. That's blood that's soaked into the steet. The victims, obviously. Yes, and that seat would be clearly visible from the roof deck. Would you really stab somebody in full view of the other passengers like that, I wonder? Well, it was after dark, and there was a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight. Whichever way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. This seat looks reasonably soft, but it's actually rather hard when you sit on it. And only just wide enough for two gentlemen to sit side by side, really. Two bros chilling in the bus seat, 5 feet apart, because they're not gay. Of course, an English gentlewoman would be dressed in such finery. It would be quite impossible for her to climb up to the roof deck, so she would have to be seated in here. A woman in a kimono would have the same problem. Women's clothes are very impractical, aren't they? Oh, ho, ho, yes, they are. Ah, that's a poster for the Great Exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. Sweet Life fan blue? That's a poster, yeah. There's a lot of focus on being drawn to the Crystal Tower, the centerpiece of the whole exposition. Ooh, the Crystal Tower. It's under construction already, I believe. People all over London must be fizzing with excitement at the prospect of such a grand event. It's quite a large skylight, isn't it? Yes, quite large enough to afford a good view into the cabin from the roof deck. There doesn't appear to be a handle or catch of any description, so I suppose it can't be opened from the inside of the cabin at least. Hmm. Oh. Okay, cool. Oh, I'll go back outside. I wish I'd examined this when there was music, but too late now. Oh. Oh. Oh my. Hey! Aww, so cute. Look at that. Who knew? It's cute. And here I thought it was gonna be here I thought it was gonna be a ladder thing. think that's it. I think that's everything. I don't. I think that's everything. I don't know. Ray, don't expect this Nibonese stray to understand the intricacies of British courts' cross-examination rights. Alright, my first cross-examination in a British court. Focus, Ryunosuke. Oh, Ryunosuke. Focus. What the witnesses saw.
Hold it!
I'm 10 out of 10. Yes, sir, that's right, sir. Yes, it was so-called freezing effect. Oh, God. That's right. You had 4 passengers on board at the time, is that correct? Yes, that's right, sir.
Not all traveling in the same parts of the bus. No, of course, though. No. And there were no other passengers when the incident took place. Not one lighted, for example.
You're quite right. That's no other passengers like that. No, none. So nobody fled the scene of the crime then.
I have to say, the boss insists on it running does. Every evening, the last bus of the day.
Okay.
I do wonder sometimes if it's altogether worthwhile. Yes, sorry to say.
Excuse me!
I didn't mean to. But I did get to hear excuse me. Wait, no, do you have some affliction?
Not really.
He's not really willing to say anything. None of your business anyhow. The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Okay, cool. Oh, well, I'm not gonna read that again in the accents. And you saw them through the skylight and the roof of the carriage. That's right. When you sit up on the top deck, the window's right there at your feet. Your foot's... I didn't even say, hey, Paper Star, how you doing? Didn't see you there. There was a lamp on the inside, so I had a pretty good view.
2 of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. But there's not a shred of doubt in my mind that it was Mr. McGilded.
How can you be so sure?
Well, how can I put it politely? Mr. McGilded is a gentleman of rather small stature.
I couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else.
Let's not forget that when the vehicle came to a halt, the only people inside the enclosed cabin were deceased Mr. Mason and Mr. McGilded. There is no room for doubt here.
Ugh, I really wish there was.
Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts.
Oh, rip and tear, dude.
Hold it!
You actually saw the exact moment it happened?
Didn't I already testify to that?
Or are fair dinkum, hard-working city bankers not considered trustworthy these days? Oh, no, I didn't mean that. This is no good. I really got his back up. Perhaps you could... My lord. Draw number 3. What's the meaning of this?
What's the meaning of this?
My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up. Made up about what?
I don't like the stinking rich. Never have.
You look rich.
Oh, something or other they shouldn't be. Every one of them.
And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Well, can't fool me.
There's no point wasting time listening to any more of this. That's my opinion on that. Anyway. That is precisely what I was about to say. As the foreman of the jury, it's my duty to set a good example to my fellow jurors. Yes, that's a knife. What is happening here?
Let me see. Ah yes, it seems that how a member of the jury gives their verdicts. With fire? Apparently yes. White for innocent, black for guilty. As the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one they each cast a ball of fire into the great scales of justice, as we saw a moment ago. So if those enormous scales fall completely to the black side, does that mean... Let's do our very best to make sure that doesn't happen. Now I'm even more worried than I was before.
Very well, the court acknowledges the change in the jury's stance. Counsel for the defense, please continue with the cross-examination.
Ah, this is a nightmare. That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed I did. Couldn't help it.
Hold it!
He stabbed him, you say? And you were sitting up on the roof deck, were you? Yes, that's right, sir. I was up on the roof seats. I remember seeing the little gent sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. I've been thinking about a new hat design, you see. I was just gazing absent-mindedly around. Then, I happened to look down through the skylight. It was sticking right up from his belly. That huge great knife.
A grim sight indeed.
Ah, that didn't help me at all. The jury looks like they're even more convinced my client did it than they were before. That appears to have made everyone even more dubious that Mr. McGillis is telling the truth. Only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions.
Mr. First.
Oh yes, yes sir? Yes sir?
Is this the knife you saw?
Oh, good grief, yes, that's it. That's the very one, sir.
Is that... Yes, counsel. This is the blade that was driven right into the victim's belly like a stake through the heart.
Oh, you know a lot about stakes through the heart, dude. That's like your one weakness.
It's a blade of considerable size, counsel. It is, and furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned prominently a certain initial. The letter M. It seems oddly familiar. Ugh, please now. M for Magnus, perhaps? Or McGilded, possibly? Take your pick. It seems this particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake.
Objection!
So weak-ass objection you got there, bud. But there are M's everywhere. Yes, like in Mason.
Objection!
He gets his own little font.
This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. No, this weapon of murder almost certainly belongs to the accused. Ugh. Should have been W for Wumble.
Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, counsel.
Compelling, counsel, sorry.
Keeping track of voice is gonna be hard.
My lord, if you'll just forgive the interruption.
Ah, jury number 2, go on. Go on.
Mr. McGillis is a pillar of society and a gentleman, and a gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However, those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Wait, are you about to...
The rubbish.
So can I lose just by pressing too much? Or is this all gonna just happen? Oh.
I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and grime.
Okay, cool. Oh, I didn't give her a voice.
I have painstakingly typed every word uttered here to me, and cross-referenced all the facts. As such, I am now in a position to draw the only logical conclusion.
Jesus Christ, Grandma's gonna be my last hope, I bet. Not again. That's 4 out of 6 jury members who propose a guilty verdict. We've had it. Every time I press these witnesses, yeah. Nevertheless, what we needed more than anything at the moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark. But we'll just have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing that more smarts may well apply. We mustn't give up hope that we'll uncover something that will give us a way to fight back. But... Alright, I'll keep trying. I can't give up. I just need to keep calm and listening to the witnesses' statements again. Alright, so when it happened, there were only 2 people in the enclosed cabinet with victim and defendant. And so help me, 3 whole people witnessed the man I'm trying to defend do the deed. I don't like to be pessimistic, but we do seem to be in a rather difficult situation here. What am I supposed to think here? Is Mr. McGilded really innocent? Or could it be? Before we jump to conclusions, our first task should be to gather information and understand the case much better than we do at the moment. Yes, you're absolutely right. Let's listen to the wisdom. I don't have to press everything again, do I? Well, no, let's see what we got going on here. Poor dude. Oh, he's missing a button. Look at that. So the carriage goes, like the horses go here, right? That's like how this works. How did he see in? How did he see in? Oh shit. Like how do you see inside that? That's not like a window that opens or something, I don't think. Where's it? Wait a minute. I'm not smart, so just please bear with me, y'all. I didn't look at this, did I? Oops. No. I just... Oh, yeah. A lot like blood. Surely it's victims. Wow. How do you plunge a knife in like that and only get blood up to the hilt? Like, up to here? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm gonna try that. I don't know what else it is.
Objection!
No, it's not it. The music didn't stop. No. Do I really have to? Am I gonna have to press things again? Did I miss something? I'm not smart, you guys. You can answer that, by the way. I'm gonna press this again. I don't remember what it said.
Objection!
Yeah. Bye. Did not mean to hit that. Damn it. God, it's like when Tim presented my his in Ace 3 of Justice for All.
Hold it!
Did I? Oh wait, I didn't press this, did I? And by the passenger, yes. Order, order! Law knows no philanthropists, my lord. Only the innocent and the guilty. Good deeds mean nothing when overshadowed by evil. The truth is everything. Couldn't agree more, sir. The truth. This scene is the most relevant, so I'm just gonna...
Hold it!
No, he stopped the carriage, he said. Oh, but you're right. If he saw... Oh, no, you're right. But, I don't know. Wait a minute. How do you hear the scream, then stop your bus, and then see the stabbing? That doesn't make any sense, but what do I present for that? Okay, I need... Oh, you heard the scream of... Oh, this guy. You heard the scream of that guy. Okay, but like, still. I need to read that again. I know, I'm stupid, but like, whatever. I'm tired of seeing the same thing.
Hold it!
What did you say? I'm forgetting. This is great. Yeah. But I assumed it would be more obvious.
Hold it!
Oh boy, did I not finish this?
As the master of the London Guild of Coachmen, the idea of a murder being committed in one of the city's coaches is utterly important to me. Oh, abhorrent to me. It would be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, though, I said to myself.
Okay. Grandma's holding out. Grandma got run over by a reindeer. And we only had 5 jurors to use. G up now, Silver Blaze. The finish is in sight. Beto is a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what the man says. Oh, thank you, sir. You're too kind, sir.
Too kind, sir.
This is too unkind, sir. Which now means that the 5 jurors agree to condemn this man. Grandma spending Christmas with a superstar when that reindeer ran her down that fateful night.
Madam Juror number 6.
Yes, dear. What can I do for you? You have heard the testimonies of the witnesses in the stands. Oh yes, I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know. I assume up until this point he was hearing quote-unquote all of the facts. Then pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your leaning?
Why are you yet to pronounce your leaning?
Well, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park around this time of day and sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting. There's a lovely little park just near where I live. McGilded Park, it's called. The gentleman donated it to the city, you know, to put a smile on London's faces, they said. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have it in him to take another man's life. He is always doing wonderful things for the city. That's right, a man like that wouldn't stab someone, surely.
Mother, may we go to McGilded Public Library later to borrow some books?
How many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds? Do you people not know what kind of a man Magnus McGilded really is? Oh, this is the only song I know from the soundtrack, so I love it too. So this...
What kind of a man is he?
The philanthropist Magnus McGilded has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. But where did all that wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one with the very darkest of souls.
He's a moneylender? Like a loan shark?
What?
Stone the crows!
McGilded lends money at extortionate rates of interest so his victims have no hope of repaying. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He's a vulture that preys on the weak.
I've never heard any mention of that before.
Your faculties haven't deserted you, I'm sure, madam. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own? What possible reason could this man have had to make use of a public omnibus service?
You're not saying that. Didn't mean to hit that.
The victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing to his name, save considerable financial liability. It will come as no surprise that his creditor was the accused, Magnus McGilded. But let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed, was the final repayment date for his debts. Good gracious! The brickmaker was destitute, he had lost his house, he had not a shilling with which to repay his debts. And in the end, this pitiful soul had the very last thing he owned taken from it, his life. By the merciless philanthropist pretender, Magnus McGilded. I don't believe it.
If I might add something briefly.
Susato.
Well, waiting for them to repay doesn't... I'm not justifying it, but waiting to get the money back doesn't exactly pay either. You claim that the victim has been lent money by Mr. McGilded. Where's the evidence to support your claim? Oh, wine. Can I have some? I want some. We'll share a drink.
God, you're hot. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice in a court of law. Aha, there it is. Lord Van Zeeks' hallowed chalice. How can this be considered acceptable? But I find myself in unexpectedly good humor. I had heard ladies from the Far East show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself.
As a judicial assistant to the defense, I am simply doing my job.
What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is the debtor's ledger, which details all monies loaned by the accused. You will find the victim's name clearly recorded inside. Oh. Allow me to present this ledger as evidence. And pray forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice in a toast to the enigmatic East at the same time. A marvelous toast, counsel. I will gladly accept this new evidence. The debtor's ledger. Oh, thank God. Ah, yes, 20 guineas. The victim owed a considerable sum. And the accused made quite certain he had ample recompense.
Oh, Granny. Well, it would seem I've had the wool pulled over my eyes.
Regrettably, madam, that is the modus operandi of the accused.
And it's such a pretty little park, too. What a scoundrel. Still, maybe it's all for the best. Ah, wait a minute. I don't stand for nonsense. Oh God, did we just lose? No, we didn't, because I just got evidence. Wow, that was fast. How to lose a case as quickly as possible. Go Ryu. That was it. The last jury's decision. Oh, there's more in the book. How is that convenient? Ah. According to this Encyclopedia of British Law, when all members of the jury have concluded the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. That's what it says here. Ah, the final verdict. It's over then. Oh. There's a footnote, though. A footnote. However, the defense...
All 6 members of the jury are now in agreement in this case. Allow me to convey my respect for your swift and righteous decision. According to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial and delivering my final verdict. I trust there are no objections.
Object. Mr. Susato, just tell me one thing. Oh, yes? You were in the middle of saying something before. Footnote. What did it say next? Oh, yes, of course. One moment. When all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. And the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation examination of the jurors at this point. Oh, this is a mechanic? I've heard this word before. Summation examination?
Objection!
A summation examination? From which century has that tome you have there been resurrected?
Ah!
Judging from the binding, I would say that book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text on British law wouldn't even give such an antiquated procedure a mention. It's a relic, long forgotten, and certainly no longer practiced. So you're out of luck.
Oh. But it's still a law, isn't it? What even is it, Miss Susato? What even is it, Miss Susato? The so-called summation examination? Oh, one moment and I'll read about it.
You would demand the right to a procedure before you even understand what it entails. Typical Nipponese.
Alright, Mr. Naruhodo, I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure, we would be able to appeal to the members of the jury. Do what, exactly? Appeal to them to change their leading and reverse their decisions. And it says here that, if successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed. Make them reverse their decisions.
Yes, in times gone by, barristers would use a summation examination to influence the jury, to attempt to influence the jury's decision. But that procedure becomes something of a formality with no practical benefit, really. So it rather fell out of use.
Yeah, really, stop putting the book away. I wonder why.
Because it was devoid of purpose. Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would even assert his right to try in this day and age.
Still, I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? A summation examination, our last possible. Yeah, assert our right. The defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, my lord.
Objection!
London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very highest standards of judicial procedure. Summation examinations are an embarrassment and should remain buried.
Objection!
Or buried. Buried.
But if it's our right, it's our right. I believe that could prove vital in this trial.
The defense's position is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with the summation examination. This is madness. Foreman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready?
Eh?
Well, I'm not. There was no mention of this in the letter I received, you see, so... All members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached their decision.
On what grounds?
You must all justify your decisions and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty.
Well, my lord, you're rather putting us on the spot. This is most irregular. No mention of this was made before.
I don't really hold with all this justifying law.
That seems to have thrown the jurors off. Seems none of them have experienced this before. Alright, then Summation Examination. A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe. Might be the opportunity we've been looking for to turn this trial around. Had me going there, I really thought I was losing for a bit. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant, Magnus McGilded, guilty of this most serious crime. Oh boy, music time? There was no one else in the carriage at the time, so it had to... What? Oh, I guess, yeah, I guess. I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passages, with fares totaling 20 pence.
He stuck the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen.
I have simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion. You can trust the guild. Fair fares is our motto.
We haven't raised prices of 4 pence for years.
Hold on a minute. You haven't raised prices above 4 pence. But there were 4 people, so that would be 16 pence. A scoundrel stepping poor man on the floor of disbelief. Hold on a sec. Some of the jurors don't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments, though, do they? Well, let's see what we can do. We need to get these 6 people to change their minds. Just a moment, Mr. Naruto. Please keep the book out. According to my book, that's not quite how it works. Oh, I thought I was going to have to thaw their icy minds with some heartwarming rhetoric about the defendant. Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant is guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything the defense says. But then, they've reached their conclusions by their own reasoning. You see, your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, it could recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become. Then what on earth am I supposed to do? Oh dear, I'm just stating what I read about British law, Mr. Naruto. Right, I'm sorry. Do you have any idea what... Well, from what I can understand, the key to this procedure is using the juror's own words to make your... Okay, thank you, that's what I thought. What do you mean? Well, so basically I have to contradict one juror's testimony with the other. Well, the 6 members of the jury are randomly selected members of the public. They may appear to present a united front, but the truth is, they are complete strangers who just happen to find themselves in a courtroom together. And that's the way to break them down, you mean? Yes, exactly. I figured out the contradiction. We must listen very carefully what each member of the jury says, and see if we can identify any contradictory statements. If we can, then we contrast the statements and pit the corresponding jurors against each other. Wait then. This is similar to regular costume. Oh, yes, I suppose you're right. Yep, it's kind of like, yeah, like, memorization. Oh, double slap. Okay, Petey Piranha, I have to pull this off.
Can we stop proceedings, counsel?
I would ask you to take the stand for this. I'm expecting a clear and concise rebuttal. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. My normal voice. Look at me. Jury examination. The defense's butt. Nope. So, I know what it is. But maybe I should press things. Well, does pressing hurt? Okay.
Hold it!
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is embarrassing. Haha, well, yeah, foreign crimes, but we have. Okay. Mm-hmm. If I know what it is, I might as well just go for it. At least I think I know what it is. Let me give it a try. Hit. Hit.
Objection!
Yep. Those two statements clearly contradict each other. This music did slap.
Hey, do explain yourself, Council.
Me? Oh dear, what have I said?
I swear on Silverblaze's maiden name, I haven't the first idea what you're talking about.
According to the group testimony we've heard so far, there are 4 passengers on the omnibus in the night in question. And according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares.
Right, I have these precise details typed neatly here in front of me.
And juror number 5 also told us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence. That it is, a fair and convenient single price.
Just the way London's carriages should be operated.
That doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts.
Why, man, why?
4 passengers paying 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication, it would be 16 pence. Exactly. As I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact. Or precisely 1 person's fare.
1 person's fare?
Yes, in other words, on the omnibus that night, it's distinctly possible that there was another passenger we've heard nothing about. Arithmetic, yes.
This can't be right. This can't be right. The good coachman of the guild are good, honest men, one and all. Trustworthiness is our watchword.
The figures your coachman claims to have most certainly do not add up. Your watchword, good sir, is a fallacy.
I beg your pardon?
Guildmaster! Hold on. Sorry, this is very important to me. You know what that means, y'all. This will surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he lets nefarious characters ride his omnibus.
Alright then, how do I make this miserable trial so this miserable trial doesn't end,
Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire onto the innocent side of the set of scales.
Hold your horses there, coachman. We were all in agreement. Why'd you have to go and... Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo. This is all very irritating.
Begging your pardon, sir. I'm going to do the same. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some more water. Get some water now because I'm out of boba. Be right back. Oh, I'm so dumb. Instead of unmuting my mic, I muted the game audio. My bad. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We can force the trial to continue. 2 more. Actually, there is something else that's been bothering me about a couple of their assertions. That's where you must strike next. I need to pit 2 more jurors against each other. Cool.
Well, the scales of justice have shifted, but they still weigh heavily on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination.
Oh, I see.
Objection!
Cool. These 2, yeah.
What? Explain, counsel, post-haste.
Oh, dearie me. I was only needing a jumper for my other half.
What is all this claptrap? What does contradictory even mean, I ask you?
We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3.
What? Can't you see I'm busy here?
How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it?
Ha! Want to test me, do you?
Yeah.
Just like this, stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up, just like the prim banker said.
Yeah, I said the same. I said something similar. I was like, that's it's a little weak for an objection. Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony.
Quite true.
Now then, juror number 6. Oh, is that me, is it? What can I do for you, young man? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam? Oh, well, as far as I understand it. It was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. The coachman said so. Now don't move. Take a good look at these 2 jurors. Without even getting up, and collapsed on the floor.
Well, I never. They're stabbing in totally different directions.
What?
What?
Bless my stitches, what a muddle!
What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling truth. Oh. Oh.
But why? Why the dickens would they lie?
I don't know that yet, what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We'll never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen, all in good conscience?
Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me. I can't abide people telling lies.
Yeah, Grandma.
The scales. I don't believe it. Wait. Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I warn you, you cannot listen to this man. Look at him in his black suit. He's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using...
Okay, wow, you're more racist than Prosecutor Daddy over there. I could use magic. Do you really think I'd be putting myself through all this?
Answer me this, Dark Jinx.
Me?
What exactly is the problem? What of it if 2 witnesses have slightly different recollections of events?
What of it?
Let's say the Shylock did stab the victim as he was sat next to him on the omnibus, and this young dandy saw him do it. And now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor and that the Shylock stabbed him again, and this old lady saw him do it. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like that,
Who are you calling a dandy, sir? Why, I should take this knife to you. Who are you calling old? Why, I should take this needle to you. Ugh, they're ready to kill each other now. Well, they shouldn't. Just kill the foreman. Could the foreman of the jury be right? It's out of the question. Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman.
What is it, you Dark Jinx? Come on, out with it.
What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question.
What are you talking about, man? How can you possibly say that? You do realize that I'm only doing my job. As foreman of the jury, I have the responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So where's your evidence, man? That's what we want to see. I say the two witnesses saw different moments of the same crime. Okay, that's out of the question. Show me some proof.
Alright, sure. As you wish.
What?
This is one stab, dude. This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen only once.
Only once?
It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means these witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen 2 different times.
Alright.
I can see defeat. Wow, the dandy. Wait, that means 4 jurors are now leaning to not guilty. We've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. We've won. We really did that.
What are you playing at, you dandy fool? Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me.
We had consensus.
I said shut your trap. I know a liar when I see one, and if the chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor-sharp blade and shave every last hair off his head.
Oh yeah, lick that. I know. Demonstration of me and Van Zeek's later? I mean, what? Please tell me he's a barber.
Quite a remarkable turn of events. The defense's summation examination has flipped the balance of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand at 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there's no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to adjudicate, and the trial must continue. I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witnesses to return to their places.
I don't think Van Zeek's ever left his place.
I call upon all of you to continue to pursue the truth. So, Lord,
Oh man, he just crushed it?
having savored the rich aroma of the carmine contents of this hallowed chalice. If it may seem crass to crush it to dust, pray forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks.
Ugh, is it cold in here or is it just me?
As your antiquated tome no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during the summation examination, so I honored a deathly silence and listened to the charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. Well, no matter. There is nothing so hard to prove as a self-evident truth, it would seem. No, and why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence after all?
Yeah, zoom in.
So, let us proceed to the next round of battle.
Oh, no cape.
Bring forth the witnesses once more.
He's so hot.
Witnesses, I trust you heard the summation examination we have just had to endure.
Yes, sir, that I did,
sir. Of course I heard it. Of course I heard it.
Oh, yes, sir, I heard it.
You, sir, on the end, the coachman. I believe it's Beppo.
Yes, sir, my lord, sir.
If it transpires that in your previous testimony, you were attempting to veil the presence of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you'll be found guilty of perjury. You are advised to bear that in mind, sir.
Oh mio Dio. Is he not British? The whole time? I guess Beppo is pretty Italian. Is he Italian?
Now then, witnesses, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again. You will explain various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination.
Various misgivings. I only carried 4 passengers that night. I swear it, but
I, for one, was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus.
he fiddled us on the fare. He fiddled us on the fare. He did, and then I saw that blood-curdling sight. It's all too much.
Oh. I tell you, I saw Mr. McGill. I saw McGill stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands.
Yes, he stabbed him. He did. Yes, he did. I think so. Yes.
Dressed in all green. Is that Charlie Day? Also, make sense of this for me, please. The phantom 5th passenger conjured into existence by my learned English Eastern friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly cozenage? Cozenage? Pepper, explain yourself.
I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster.
The guild fare is 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand that you've been overcharging our passengers by a penny a fare?
It's so cold, and the last run of the day is always half empty.
You have been dishonest, coachman.
I'm sorry.
You're a disgrace, Beppo. A disgrace. And your selfish actions have brought dishonor upon the entire guild.
If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week.
What?
4 passengers at 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. Done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the result come out differently. No, that figures.
Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained. So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, please. Already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games.
Absolutely.
Hold it!
Yeah. It's impossible to make the last run of the day pay. I was so cold, all I could do was to stop myself from passing out.
I'm getting chilblains just listening to you.
It was terrible, so I wanted to give myself a proper pat on the back for keeping the bus running. Doesn't a dedicated coachman deserve an extra penny for a passenger?
Digging a deeper hole for yourself here. This passenger on the omnibus that night, then we would have had another subject. Well, I, for one, was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus. Yes.
Hold it!
Does that mean everyone on board that night paid 5 pence instead of 4? But I paid 5 pence too, sir.
And I just told you that I did.
A flat fare of 5 pence across the board.
It's not something to be proud of. So-called discrepancy my learned friend identified was nothing of the sort. Ay. Much like the phantom killer you so desperately needed, it's gone, dead, buried.
I'd have been happy if it ever existed in the first place. He fiddled us on the fare, he did, and then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. Well, too much!
Hold it!
This blood-curdling sight, you mean the murder?
Yes, sir.
A loathsome sight. No one should have to witness the horror in the eyes of a man the moment his life is taken.
Well, not exactly, sir. I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment Jen was stabbed.
Good gracious, really?
We have another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it. Didn't actually see when the victim was killed. That may turn out to be very significant. I heard the banker gent next to me take a sharp intake of breath, I see. That's when I looked through the glass.
That's when I saw that horrible blade poking out from his belly, all covered in blood. Every time I see a knife now, I can't help screaming, even when I'm eating.
I tell you, I saw Mr. McGill. I saw McGill stabbing that man. Yeah, whatever. Press
Hold
it.
it!
So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGillet, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him.
That's what I said, isn't it?
Isn't it? It was bothering me before this was.
It was bothering me before this was. For just a brief moment, hesitated he did before answering the question.
Anyway, there was only the two of them inside the carriage, wasn't there? Tuesday, innit? There's been much talk of a fifth passenger, but as yet, zero evidence. What are we wasting all this time for, eh? It's black and white. The man's guilty. Something about Mr. Fairplay's testimony just jars with me. I wish I could work out what it was. I don't know, they're both wearing hats. How do you see it?
Objection!
No, that's not it. Okay. Right.
No, not that. The right button before you accidentally present something. Earlier, the victim. Oh yes. Yes, that's right. It said the victim was on the floor, ice pick grip. I suppose I might have, yes. Put the cart before the horse, maybe.
What's this?
Well, I'm quite sure about the most of it. I was driving the horses when I heard a scream from the bar seats on the roof of deck. Oh, I expect that was me, sir. Then when I turned around, yes, I saw it through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor, and the knife sticking up out of his midriff. That's right, yes, and the fellow holding the handle was the famous man, yes.
Sure. You didn't see the... Yes.
I really thought that it did, but when I could go over it again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment.
Truth!
Wow, that was really,
Excuse me!
that was really obvious. Jesus Christ. You have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay?
Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. You didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed.
What are the chances of that?
Eh?
Are you asking me or telling me?
He's getting flustered.
I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exam? Well, it's a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeking through a skylight on the top of an omnibus, that is.
Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, I'll have you know. And I know what I saw. I remember it clearly as a Ballarat day. It was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you.
Thank you.
Mr. Fairplay.
Oh, excuse me if I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. This entire thing is just me doing the voice halfway through because I forget who's talking.
Oh, I can do that all right. I'll just tell you how grim it was.
Think of blood-soaked hands. Alright. Wouldn't exactly call that blood-soaked, but you do you, buddy. Blood-soaked hands. Well, I admit that soaked, maybe laying it on a little thick, but... But anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in. No, I disagree. Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar. What? Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night in question. Oh, yes, right. There certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there. But as I'm sure you can clearly see, only on the right-hand glove. Ugh. Eat it. Eat that thing. Yum yum. Straight mouth. Another word. In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent.
Ugh. But no, that can't be right.
So you're the liar here, then.
That's right, you were quite clear about it. You said it was both hands.
I don't know if I would nibble in that situation, Blue Coin. Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth?
Objection!
It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying.
Yes, it wasn't both hands, it was only one, but the fact remains.
The victim's blood was on the accused.
No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands, which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court.
Ugh. Why? I'm a city banker, for pity's sake. My word should be the gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe. Upstanding members of society don't prevaricate.
He's claiming to have no reason to lie. Is that really the case? Mr. Naruhodo, if we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it could turn the tide in this trial completely. He's in the ledger, isn't he? I didn't look at the ledger because I forgot it was a thing. The defense is ready to present evidence.
By Jove, are you sure?
Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony.
Ugh. Very well. Hereby call the defense to present its evidence.
I just read this before I freaking do anything with it. She's thinking about Sholmes. Gosh, it's crammed full. Oh. Goodness, what's this? Look at this. Do you see the name here? Bruce Fairplay. Shit, it does. Bruce Fairplay. The witness is fine. Wait. Oh. What, 20 guineas, did he? Look, the repayment day's fast approaching. Possible this is a coincidence, of course, but it could be very useful information.
Thank God I checked it.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
This is a list of debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilded.
Yes, a list of innocent victims, crippled by the accused extortion.
The point is, among the names of these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay.
What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused?
No, well, it's barely worthy of being called a debt. According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas, not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say?
Ugh. But what of it?
Let's suppose Mr. McGilded were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case?
These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to capital punishment, all outstanding debts to which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist.
Cease to exist? Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony you've seen something you have never in fact saw in a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant?
Order, Mr. Bruce Fairplay.
Yes, my lord.
Let me ask you again. And be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir. Ugh. Did you or did you not see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim?
Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony.
All right, now let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch.
Pinch?
Makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on McGillen's hands, both of them.
Objection!
And yet, only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained.
Ugh, so you keep saying.
I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. First.
Well, the thing is, I remember seeing it myself as it happens.
Seeing what?
The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think, yes. I'm almost sure it was on both of his hands, not just the one.
What? What? What the? How do you miss? How does that happen? Let's figure this out. How does that happen?
It would appear that we're going to need further testimony from all you witnesses. This time I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear? Yargs.
Mr. Naruhodo, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last.
Yes, yes. I might finally have a chance to turn things around here. You think a hat maker would have a hat that fits him properly? But when it says really, so. There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that mattered.
I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with blood on them. I didn't see anything of myself, no, not until I heard that scream.
Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, and we all would have seen.
Well, lo and behold, the truth fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. Ugh, that much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying we saw the man do it.
That's not really not what testimony is about.
Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible in the seat, corroborating the witness's account. In other words, there is no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case. Very well, your cross-examination, please, counsel.
Yes, my lord.
What the witnesses really... Here we go. Okay. Well...
Hold it!
The evidence tells us otherwise. Nevertheless, I know what I saw and I stand by it. The man had blood on both his hands. Defiant, even in the face of hard evidence, it's steadfastly.
Your reasoning is dire. Why a hand or two? The salient point remains unchanged. Minutes after the grim crime, the victim's blood dripped guiltily from the accused's fingers.
Hold it!
Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime is a matter of fundamental importance. As well you know. But, crying out loud, we all know that no one else could have possibly done it. I was just trying to save us all some time. You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not? Had you hoped to release yourself from the burden from that financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty?
Jesus Christ. That's not entirely not what I was hoping for. Ugh. I just lost a little guinea or 10 when I backed the wrong horse in a derby, that's all. I was going to win it all back. There's a fixture this weekend, that's a sure thing. A little guinea or 10? I think that no one better than I if I borrow a little spending money for the weekend.
You just...
I think you may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, sir. This witness's scruples are not on trial here. Proceed to the next witness.
Is that really how it's supposed to work?
I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both of the attackers' hands with blood on them.
You definitely saw that too? Blood on both hands?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I know what you're gonna say.
Only one of Mr. McGilder's gloves has any sign of blood on it.
That's right.
The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGilder sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he's wearing any gloves, sir.
He wasn't wearing these gloves?
That's correct, sir, and I saw the blood on both his bare hands quite clearly.
It's true that the dark-colored stain on the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see.
I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGilder's gloved hands.
There wasn't blood on his hands?
This is puzzling indeed.
This must be significant somehow, I'm sure of it. I don't know what you're gonna tell me that's useful, but let's see. Didn't see any. You didn't see anything. Police officer, yeah.
Well, yes, sir, that is to say it. No, sir, I didn't. Very sorry about what I said before, sir. Very sorry, yes. It was very wrong of me to make up the stories about this. I'd say I saw him stab the man. Wouldn't you agree, sir?
Man, poor Italy has to sit through Chris Pratt being cast as Mario and my Italian accent. Italy will never recover from this.
I know what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories.
Still, you say you saw nothing isn't right either.
No, sir, I saw nothing at all.
Mr. Beppo. Bobbies, they're called Bobbies in England, but no. You were driving your horses. At the very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London streets, no?
It's a stone, Luigi. You didn't make it.
So what about this another castle, right? Toad always says that the princess is in another castle. There is no other castle. I can't do Charlie Day's voice.
It was so cold that night. It was all I could do to keep it from passing out, sir. Yes, but my head was fairly frozen. Sorry to say, sir.
It would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service of London's cold winter nights.
I love it, personally.
Beppo.
Hold it!
There is not a casting choice that I am not looking forward to in that movie. And everything you saw of the incident was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus. That's right. It was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over.
Oh yes, I remember. I was shivering. It was so bitter.
Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place.
Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. Oh? Why not?
It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door.
It was locked?
That's right, and it's a public bus service for pity's sake. It's not what I would call fair play.
Ha 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 ha, you said your name.
Yes, I had exactly the same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off. I had no choice but to climb up to the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin below.
Well, I can assure you I wasn't looking down. I was glaring long and hard like Mr. Van Zeeks over there, and that's precisely why I can tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else in that cabin, I would have noticed. unequivocal, I would say, and I would prefer if you would refrain from making mention of me being long and hard, good sir. I'm not sure about these two witnesses. They might not have been able to. Wouldn't the glass have frosted over? Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding this omnibus and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight and the floor of the upper deck. Is that right?
That's right, yes.
In that case, there's a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight to you.
What? By golly, really?
Obviously, this we can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied that at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here, in the flesh. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's demand. You will identify the area on this cross-sectional plate of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting this potential extra passenger could have been seated? So they were sitting here, I guess. They went here. Yeah, it's the only place that makes sense.
Take that!
Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other, which means the visible part of the cabin, which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight, is as I've drawn here. Ugh. That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite the one on which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses could have been completely unaware of it.
Objection!
It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude. What? Why does that make sense? And you, Mr. Meadowhood? I honestly don't know. Who could it have been? Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight? Do I have an inkling? I understand, my lord. Prince would like to put forward a name. You are a fool. That response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. Yes, Robin. A toast to hard lessons not yet learnt. Let us not delay. Let us not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seat. Could be it. This could be the chance. Well, naming people has gotten me in the most trouble so far this entire playthrough. On that night, on the night of the murder, person occupying the seat. Oh, Lord. Oh, no. Wasn't Van Zeeks. This is a trap. Well, wait.
Take that!
Figured it out. It wasn't a trap. Passenger in the enclosed cabin that night. The witnesses on the roof deck failed to see. Has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded.
Mr. McGilded?
What are you talking about, counsel? That's the name of the defendant.
Objection!
Nice shot. If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hallowed chalice, do forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks, Lord Van Zeeks. People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own, but I see they use the terms ill-advisedly.
Yeah, he threw his glass into the lamp. What are you trying to say?
Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It is the very premise on which this case is built.
Objection!
But that premise may be wrong.
What?
But if the victim was really sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way.
What inconsistency, counsel?
The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claimed there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the quarter of the name.
Objection!
He's so poetic when he's not being racist. The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance.
Yes, their testimony remains unchanged.
Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. If it was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on that passenger's hands, both.
Objection!
And who was this third party?
Obviously, the true culprit.
Extraordinary. Order, order, order. What exactly are you postulating? The defense's postulation is just that, nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
But when elaborating on this testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces.
Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I can see the rest, though.
Yes, that's right. Both gents were certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sir.
And what particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First?
I'm afraid I don't remember.
And you call yourself a hatter? The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin.
How can you be so sure?
Because if there had been,
the accused, Mr. McGilded, would undoubtedly have offered to depose the fact.
Unless that is that what you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation, that the accused failed even to notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled.
Ah. Yeah, he was sleeping, dude. They're not gonna think of that. He's right. If there was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it.
Order, there's clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused, Mr. McGilded, to the stand. Well, what say you, counsel? The prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? As a suspect who will have already made a full statement to the police.
But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely?
Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out that the man has been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been the most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion?
My lord, should we ask Mr. McGilded to testify or not? I don't know. If this guy doesn't want to do it. Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. Put your hand down, boy. Boy, put your hand down. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand.
In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury.
Yes.
I need a little time to consider this.
If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say.
Get the man out here, I say.
It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony.
When something needs doing, getting done. That's how I run things at the guild. I don't know what his voice is.
Hearing what the patron of my favorite park has to say. Oh yes, that'd be lovely.
Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Very well, the court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once. If you please.
Now, maybe what actually happened tonight will finally become clear.
I doubt it, dude. Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day?
Oh great, I have to do this. To be sure, I have, my lord.
There are now two matters on which the court decides to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police?
God, no. It is not my nature to hide anything at all.
Just answer the questions, please.
Truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell you all or keep my mouth shut? Tell us what, Mr. McGilder. The fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger.
It's true.
Aye, and it was me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened.
You what?
Yeah, you're not the first person to say that, Blue.
No, Magnus McGilded, that convenient excuse can't save you now.
I'm truly sorry, so I am Lord Van Zeeks. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you. Which was? Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm not anyway involved, you see.
What?
If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have pulled her into the safe courtroom just like myself. It was only kind of fair to that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord.
And who was this young child from you speak?
That I don't know.
You don't know?
Hey, well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw before or since.
Objection!
Before or since.
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man.
The prosecution calls for the witness's statements to be disregarded by the court. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak. Listen to the proceedings. If you had the chance to change your fate, would you? What? Bang? Hold on there. Ah, smoke! Ah, fire! There's a fire. Look, something. It's no use. Take this. What is going on? Be careful, Mr. Naruto. Cover your face.
Don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call in emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom.
We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff. Amid scenes of chaos, the people stumbled over one another in desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. It's because Van Zeeks threw some wine in the lamp and it blew up. I'm just kidding. Hi, Dishnet, how you doing? All right. Well, this seems as good a place as any for me to take a little break there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the intermission screen, and then I'm going to give you some chance to do the thing that you do with the bathroom and the snacks and stuff. So we'll be gone for a few minutes, so feel free to. What am I doing this for? Yeah, I'm going to take an intermission. But we're playing more. Don't worry. So I'll see you in a bit. Use the bathroom, do whatever you need to do. And I'll see you back here in a few minutes. Adios for now.